Okay, hello everyone who is watching our YouTube live stream or the recording of our first growth call in 2019. I'm Christoph Atteneder and I'm your host today. As always, I already posted the Google Hangout invitation link in the chat on the left, so you can join us here in the Hangout. Or if you just want to watch the live stream, feel free to post your comments and questions in the live chat, and we'll try to answer them and address them as quickly as possible. Our growth calls, like the one today, are about everything that helps to grow the Bisq network itself. If you don't know it by now, Bisq is the only true decentralized exchange to exchange fiat with cryptocurrency or crypto with other cryptocurrency. If you're interested in more details, please have a look at the introductional video on Bisq, which I'll link in the description below after the call. So I hope everyone had a relaxing holiday and a great start into 2019. I was unfortunately a little bit sick, so I'm still catching up on everything that happened on Bisq so far. So please give me some time, especially for pull requests. But yeah, looking back at 2018, what happened around Bisq is definitely worth a short review before we get into the ideas for 2019. So not only did we release the Bisq DAO on testnet in December, we improved the network and platform in every regard. To visualize it better, I just put together 3 slides with 3 important indicators in my point of view, which reflects the success of Bisq in 2018. So let me just quickly start some screen sharing. And hello to everyone who is joining us on Slack and in the chat, and especially to have you guys here in the Hangout today. Okay, let's see if that works. Can you see my screen? I guess it should work. So I'm just switching to the first screen. Okay, perfect. Trading volume. As Bisq is an exchange and everyone is talking about trading volume, if you look at the trading volume on Bisq in January 2018, we had 95 Bitcoin in total in a whole month that was traded. That's across all markets. In December now, last month, we had our most successful month in terms of Bitcoin volume with more than 1,600 Bitcoin. So it was a huge increase in volume. And that's not only because of Monero. Monero is a big chunk of it. But yeah, nearly every market grew over the last year. And Bisq is getting more and more sustainable every day. Especially if you look at the number of trades, you see it there as well. So we had 556 trades in January 2018, and last month it was already more than 2,500 trades. So it's not such a huge increase if you compare it to the volume, but that's because the bigger part of the volume, as I mentioned already, came from altcoins like Monero, and there the trading limit is way higher than on regular fiat trades, and that's the reason for this nearly 350% increase in the number of trades. But what excites me most, what I think is one of the most important metric, or what I like most about 2018 is that we were able to grow the contributor base that much within last year compared to the years before. So we started with 18 contributors, and we're now nearly 60 contributors working on Bisq in different areas, maybe support, engineering, monitoring. So there's so many places where people can help to grow and maintain the Bisq network, and that's also one of the important parts that we have to focus over the next year in 2019 to increase the contributor space more and more to make it more decentralized and less just very stable, that there's no single point of failure that can bring the Bisq network down anymore. But yeah, we're already quite far, and I think we can achieve what we were aiming for in the Bisq DAO document that Chris and Manfred put together. I will stop now screen sharing again. Just give me a second to switch. Yeah, maybe just before we get into the ideas for 2019. If you don't know it, we've sent out a tweet yesterday to get feedback from the community, what you like to see on Bisq in 2019. And I also had a look at the survey feedback we got from the Bisq client. So if you trade on Bisq, after your first successful trade, you get a short pop-up where we are highlighting a link to a survey, which is optional, of course. And I looked through the feedback on the question what you want to see on Bisq, and I also merged the Twitter feedback and the survey feedback into one kind of master list, which we'll go through now during the call and discuss. Maybe that is something that we already had on our priority list, to-do list for 2019, or maybe it's something that we definitely will add. Yeah, I would say let's get right into it. Or Manfred, do you have anything special you want to mention about 2018? What was your personal highlight, maybe?
Yeah, I think there's too much to put together here. Yeah, it was a great year with increase in every area, and I think, as you mentioned, also the most important is that our contributor base it was growing a lot, and we're getting much more sustainable on that area. I think that's the most important part at the end.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, now for the discussion on the different points, everyone who is on the call today, feel free to join anytime, jump in, give your opinion. Yeah, it should be a vivid discussion, and also you watching us live, feel free to write comments in the chat or join us here in the Hangout. Yeah, and it would be great to have in the end maybe a couple of new points we will add on our to-do list for 2019. And yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, one thing that was mentioned again on Twitter and also a lot of times in the survey is SegWit support. Yeah, it comes up every now and then. Manfred, do you want to join in on that?
Yeah, Bisq is using Bitcoin J, and Bitcoin J doesn't have SegWit support so far. I mean, they're working on it, but it's not released yet. Luckily, we have now a Bitcoin J expert in the Bisq team, and yeah, it will take some time, but I think at some point we get there. For the trade protocol, as some people are requesting also, yeah, if we can use SegWit in the trade protocol directly. There is no technical feasible way, which I'm aware of, because the Bisq trade protocol is based on multisig transactions, and that's not possible with SegWit. Sorry, with Lightning. I was confusing. There's a Lightning, a very related topic to SegWit that, yeah, we should get Lightning support and to make the trade protocol supported with Lightning, but unfortunately that's not feasible. I mean, there are some theoretical ideas how to implement something like multisig on Lightning, but nobody's working on this, and it's, yeah, we cannot count on this. But yeah.
So Manfred, regarding the SegWit support, do you think it's a huge effort for Oscar to implement it, or?
Andreas Schilbach, the maintainer of Bitcoin J, he's working since a year or more on this, and I have not followed so closely how much is missing, but basically it seems that it's close to be finished, but yeah, I think Oscar at some point will be a better host here to give more information.
Yeah. So I spoke with Andreas about it in the Congress, in the CCC Congress a few days ago, and some parts are already ready. They're supposed to be, especially making SegWit transactions, supposed to be merged in the next few days. The SegWit wallet is going to take a bit while, but it should be ready in the next few months, if I understood correctly, which means that hopefully by this time next year, we could have a SegWit in Bisq.
Cool.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah. I think that there was a big point that came up on every request when we asked the community what they want to see on Bisq. Then SegWit support was a big topic. The next question that came up was regarding coin joins. If we can integrate coin joins within Bisq. I'm not 100% sure where we could integrate that. If that could be part of the trade process itself, that we, or if it's a separate service that we could offer within the client. Manfred, do you think?
Yeah, that's another very old topic. And technically and conceptually, I think it wouldn't be really hard to integrate it. I mean, we have all the basic infrastructure here, peer-to-peer network and the wallets and so on. I think a main issue will be which incentives we give to the user. Of course, many of our users are very privacy concerned and they might use it. But a coin join will only really work well when it's used nearly by default by a lot of users and not only by a few users. And I think for this, you need some additional incentives, maybe saving costs with transactions, that you're creating transactions together, that you're spending transaction fees. That could be an incentive. Currently, the transaction fees are rather low, so I think that's not enough. And I mean, it's a bigger topic which would require quite a lot of conceptual work. First, how to integrate it, that from the usability, that it's really frictionless, that there might be something like a pool where you say, okay, one of my 3 Bitcoin, what I have in the wallet, is sitting there for coin join, and then when your application is online, it can be used automatically in automatic coin joins or something like this. To have just a simple implementation wouldn't be really hard, but I fear then either the usability or the incentives that people are using it will be the issue that at the end not many people are using it, and the cost-benefit relation will not be really worth it. But it's definitely on our list, on our midterm list. I mean, we have a few very important milestones what we have to focus for the next 3-4 months, but maybe mid or end of this year we can take this.
Okay, so there's lots of conceptual work that needs to be done regarding that. So, for example, if you are watching this and you really want to push this feature request, coin joins, one of the first steps would be that you maybe prepare a proposal within the GitHub repository where the discussion could be initiated for coin join. Because, as Manfred just said, I think it is a lot of conceptual work that needs to be done. And then we can decide on the implementation parts and maybe do some smaller steps until to have it in a full as a big feature in the end. The next point that was requested is hardware wallet integration. I guess people are talking about Trezor or a Ledger integration within the Bisq wallet itself. This came also up a couple of times over the last years, I think.
Yeah, we started to work already on a Trezor integration 2 years ago, but it turned out that it was more difficult and complex as assumed. And again, there are some conceptual issues. As with Trezor, at least, you cannot make non-interactively a transaction, so you have to press the buttons on the Trezor, which would not work in the trade protocol because then the transaction need to be signed by the software. It could still work as a kind of like a cold wallet storage that from a part of your Bitcoin, what you have on Bisq, that you move it directly in Tracer and back, or any other hardware wallet. But due lack of development resources, we didn't get further with this. Recently, a contributor who is working now at the hardware company pushed this topic again, and in this company they are trying to build some APIs and some solutions for such use cases, also that you can sign transactions without human interaction directly. And I think also midterm, I could imagine it's a little bit related to another point what was added later to these boxes and so on. It's actually Bitbox, what I was referring now. And there are, I mean, nothing really very concrete, but there are intentions from their side and from our side, of course, to get Bisq integrated in such hardware boxes, which get delivered as full nodes with hardware wallet integration and combined with software, which is following the principles of Bitcoin. And this would be, would be a good fit into that. And for Bisq, of course, we could then easier integrate the hardware wallet directly. So when you're buying such a hardware, you have Bisq as exchange and the hardware wallet all combined. So it'd be a great benefit for all sides.
Okay, so direct hardware wallet integration is not on our top priority list, but yeah, there's some integration already in progress. Yeah, let's see what we will have end of this year regarding the hardware wallet integrations. The next 2 points are kind of linked or pretty similar. The one is to support Monero as base currency and to be able to purchase other cryptocurrencies with fiat money. So to be able to purchase other cryptocurrencies with fiat money, we have to introduce this cryptocurrency as a new base currency. We had this question also a lot over the last couple of times. So we did have a couple of base currencies. We had Litecoin and Dash, but we deactivated them in one of the last releases completely, and I think it was already deactivated. No, it was deleted in the last releases, but it was deactivated, I think, half a year ago, because of lack of activity. So we hardly had any trades, and it's a lot of effort to maintain and to update. Regarding Monero, Manfred, do you want to just quickly point out on our plans there to support it as a base currency?
Yeah, we had these discussions a few times already, also with Monero community in some sessions. It's the main issue. It's a lot of development effort. We don't have the resources for this. When Monero developers want to join this, they're welcome. But we plan anyway an update of a trade protocol in maybe 1 year or so, which will not use any cryptocurrency directly in the trade protocol. So the trade protocol will be cryptocurrency agnostic, off-chain trade protocol, and then these questions are basically obsolete, because then you can trade whatever you want. And I think with this in mind, it doesn't really make too much sense to put half a year or 1 year developer effort in something like this, which where we have already an idea in mind, which is better at the end. With alternative cryptocurrencies, as you said, I mean, it was lack of activity. It has shown us that it's very difficult to bootstrap our market. As we experienced ourselves in our main market, it was quite difficult and took quite a while. And with other cryptocurrencies, they failed basically to bootstrap a market. And yeah, we don't have any plans to do this experiment again. And it costs quite a lot of effort. It would only work with those currencies which are very similar to Bitcoin because of the available Bitcoin J support for those currencies. That was the reason why we supported Litecoin and Dash and Doge. And the more interesting coins like Monero or Ethereum or Zcash or whatever would be more difficult because they're much more different to Bitcoin. So, but as said, yeah, I mean, for Monero, we have a little bit another idea to integrate Monero wallet in Bisq with RPC. There is an open bounty and proposal out for this. So any Monero developer who is familiar with Monero and Java is very welcome to work on this. I think that would be a good intermediary step. And yeah, I think the rough plans, what we have to go in direction of chain protocol makes such proposals not very yeah, realistic also to put effort into it.
So you mentioned the off-chain protocol. From a timeline perspective, that's something that might happen by end of 2019.
Yeah, it's hard to estimate. There's a rough concept for it. So we think that it's basically doable and feasible. It's heavily based on the DAO and on DAO features. So what's really required to make this off-chain trade protocol feasible is that the DAO has a very stable base, so that the technical and economically stable, and also from the price stability. And even then, it will require more thinking that if it's really, yeah, if it's really the best idea, because it has a few risk areas which would require more analysis and so on. But I mean, it will, when we go in this direction, it will solve a lot of problems. Mainly there are problems with transaction fees. So at some point, Bitcoin transaction fee will become very expensive, and then on-chain trade protocol is very limited. And another important part is the privacy. On-chain privacy in Bitcoin is an ongoing problem and will not be solved soon. And with going off-chain, yeah, you have a completely different playing field.
Yeah, regarding the off-chain protocol, Manfred, I think we do have a proposal already where this is discussed. Or?
Yeah, it's in our proposals repository. There's quite a long discussions and also about some details how to do it. And it shouldn't be confused. We are planning another update of our new trade protocol, which should be launched soon after the DAO, which basically removes the arbitration system. So that's our second most important milestone for the next half year. And this is not such a radical change. It just removes the arbitrator from the trade protocol and uses the DAO for some features to make it safe again. But there is also a proposal for anybody who wants to read up. It's a little bit too much to talk about it in that session here.
Yeah, I will link the links to the GitHub issues after the call. Yeah, let's have a look at the next point. Yeah, that's also something that was asked again and again, to have a possibility to communicate with, between buyer and seller.
Yeah, that will come with the next trade protocol. There, instead of the arbitrator, the first step will be when users have problems that they can talk directly to each other and try to resolve the issue by themselves. Most problems are just usability issues or issues with banks. So usually the traders can resolve their problems themselves. And with that, yeah, this feature, this long requested feature will be provided.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think especially if there's just minor issues or people just feeling uncomfortable that a SEPA trade has a time frame up to it can take up to 5 days. But yeah, if traders or the buyer and seller can communicate a little bit, I also think that helps, that no one freaks out that money is gone or that the trade doesn't work, and they can figure out lots of points already during the trade and don't have to create arbitration cases to have this kind of communication channel between each other. Because at the moment it's kind of a triangular communication to the arbitrator. The arbitrator communicates with the parties involved.
Yeah, we did this intentionally to avoid direct communication because it adds new risks for scam or phishing attacks or whatever. But I mean, we will consider these issues in the new protocol so that basically you can either just don't reply, or you can ignore it when you don't want to communicate. And there will be the option for a mediator. It's basically the same work what the arbitrator is doing, who is helping to resolve the dispute. He just doesn't have the key for doing a payout, and that's the important difference. But yeah, more on the proposal.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of requests were regarding new payment methods. I just have here for Australia, new payments platform or cardless cash. In general, we do have a payments method maintainer and a very straightforward process how we go about adding new payment methods. So if you're interested in adding a new payment method, please either join us on Slack and go to the payment method channel, and ask there that you're interested to get this payment method introduced on Bisq. There is a list of requirements that every payment method has to fulfill to be accepted on Bisq. The most important part is the chargeback risk. It has to be super low. And the next point after clarifying that would be to create an issue for this payment method to collect all the necessary parameters that are required to do a transaction between two parties. And as soon as that is done, then actually any developer can pick it up, or if you are a developer as well, then you can just implement it, create a pull request, and the payment method will be introduced in the next release. So it's quite straightforward, and there's lots of documentation. Sometimes we add payment methods that look quite promising in the beginning, but as we had that with a Cash App or Venmo, but as soon as we see that there is one chargeback attempt or problem, then we just remove the payment methods again. That happened to Cash App and Venmo. But yeah, which on some payment methods, the information is not accurate or not enough. So we are very cautious not to introduce too risky payment methods. But yeah, if we see that one payment method just is too risky, then we just remove it again. But yeah, just if you're interested in adding new payment methods, try to do so. And yeah, we have a framework set up for that, how this is processed.
Yeah, and such work, like any contribution, is up for compensation request. And I think it's important to really mention to new viewers of the video who don't know it already that Bisq is an open source project. Anybody is welcome to join and to add stuff. It's not a company where we are doing all the stuff and delivering to the users. Yeah, the users, when they're developers, are very welcome to implement the stuff what they want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Bisq is a community effort, a community project, and yeah, everyone is welcome to help. The next point is a point that is partly already fulfilled. So it's someone is asking about Android mobile version of Bisq. We do have a mobile notification app already for Android and iOS, but that is more to get notifications on your trade activity from your Bisq desktop client. So you can pair your mobile phone with your Bisq desktop client, and then over a relay server, push messages are sent to your Android or iOS device. But you can get also price alerts and this kind of information, but you can't at the moment do real trading process. So you can't accept a payment or start a payment. Regarding that, we do have something in development that might help to enable this kind of possibility. That's the Bisq API. It is at the moment a side project. It's not within the Bisq domain. Yeah, and it is quite far already, but yeah, I don't know. Manfred, do you have an idea? Will we see the Bisq API within the next quarter or half a year?
I hope so, yeah. It's also lacking on developer resources in a way for testing and reviewing mainly, also on my side. But it's on my priority list I mean, I could, I cannot really promise anything, but I hope in the next 2 months or so we have a minimal version of API released, and then it will incrementally grow over time and add more features. So there are basically, from the implementation side, there is nearly a full featured code base there, but it requires a lot of testing and reviewing, and especially on the mobile side as well, security concerns and so on. So it will take time to get it really solid, but there's already a lot developed.
Yeah.
And the mobile app, as a mobile app, what Bernard has developed is basically a full-featured Bisq application. So you can do nearly everything what you can do on the desktop client. Then over a mobile application, it requires that you run either on a server, a headless version of Bisq, or you connect directly to your desktop application. But yeah, the details will has to be worked out still. Mainly from the security side, and also the question is how many features do you really want to have on a mobile? It might become a little bit a usability issue when you can do too much. But yeah, it's for sure should get out in the next months.
Yeah, but in the end, it will never be a process that you just download the Bisq app from the App Store or the Google Play Store, and you can start immediately trading on Bisq, as it will always involve some headless or instance of Bisq running somewhere, which hopefully you have under control, and which then just communicates with your mobile device. The next, let's say, 3 to 4 points that were mentioned are more UI related. So one point is a noob-friendly guidance for a first trade. That's something that's on our priority and to-do list for a long time. We just recently had our redesign with version 0.90. And we're now working more and more to make it easier, especially for first-time users, to use Bisq. It is kind of frightening if you haven't done any trading at all. And there's lots of stuff that can be improved. And yeah, I think over the next half year, you should see lots of changes, especially for first-time users there. Yeah. And the questions are also, to improve the user interface and the user experience. That will be a big part. And also, which is from the UI part on my personal list, to improve the performance and stability. We get every now and then questions regarding memory, smaller memory issues, or CPU consumption, especially if you have a very low-scale hardware device, which people want to use to run the Bisq client. And for that, we have to do some performance optimization, but that's also, definitely on our list. Another point, people are quite happy with the new design, but when we released the new design, we got a couple of requests to if we want to introduce a dark mode for the Bisq client. Steve just pointed out in the group chat that we do have lots of videos. We have great documentation. And I will link everything in the description after the call. Thanks, Steve, for pointing that out. Just quickly back to the dark mode. So there is one task left to make it easier to create a dark mode for the Bisq client as well. If someone is interested, a developer, someone has to clean up a little bit the color codes. They are at one place already, but we have lots of colors and shades of colors involved, and they have to be reduced to base colors that are derived from. So it's easier than just to change these base colors and come up with as many color schemes as we want to. And one of the first color schemes modes that we could come up would be a dark mode. But just from a timing perspective, I think that's also something that should happen within the next half year for sure. Yeah, that's from the UI point. Then we had other questions regarding liquidity and marketing. If you want to increase marketing to improve liquidity, or to improve liquidity in certain markets, for example, the Bitcoin British pound market. This is, as Manfred mentioned already, to bootstrap a market. It's lots of effort, and we gained some experience over the last year and the year before. Felix had lots of ideas regarding. We had these liquidity weeks, and we were able to bootstrap lots of markets. Yeah, but it is community effort. So if you want to have more liquidity in your personal market, you can feel free to contact us, and we try to guide you what we know works best to bootstrap a market. But we can't do it on ourselves, especially those markets that are not as liquid as they could be without outside of our reach, because we don't have any payment methods, setups where we as the existing contributors can join. So it needs market expertise from the market you want to bootstrap, and this is also up for compensation. So if you run a kind of liquidity week for your market, you get compensated, and we can help you with lots of documentation and ideas how to do that. But yeah, we can't provide you with a marketing budget. We are not a venture-backed startup where we just pour Facebook marketing to convince people to trade. It's organic growth we're looking for, and it worked for us so far very well. Yeah, and that's what we're looking for in the future. Or is there anything, Manfred, you want to add to that regarding liquidity?
No, as you mentioned already important things. I mean, our focus at the moment is really to make the developer base more solid, that we have a broader group of developers who understand the whole software, who can improve the whole software, to have a really strong contributor base around Bisq, to have the DAO ready, to have the new trade protocol out, which solves the open issues with arbitration system. And that's, I think, the most important. And the other thing, I mean, we are now already close to that the revenue from the trading fees is covering the expenses on the contributors. So we are getting close to this break even. So I think we are on a pretty good path. And I think we don't need to push in this direction too far at the moment. And we really have to focus to get these last elements, which are not fully decentralized on the human resource side mainly, to get this solved and get Bisq to 0.1, 1.0, version 1.0, and get it really finished, not back to 0.1.
Yeah, hopefully not. Yeah, regarding liquidity, I just saw it in the chat from Peter. If you want to do another market liquidity day, that's something, yeah, that we definitely could do again, maybe with the release of the DAO, to kind of to get together and try to put out as many offers as possible. That worked really well for the last time. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm always just reading the chat besides. Yeah, but yeah, Peter, that's definitely something that we could do again. I would also like to see that.
Yeah, another question is regarding multiple payment methods, so that the trade become more flexible. There are a few requests in this direction. I mean, it's basically on our to-do list, but again, yeah, not on the highest position in our priority list, and we're lacking developers. So any developer who is, it's not very difficult. It's mainly UI work, and so any Java developer, experienced Java developer is welcome to join us and help us here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and yeah, we have lots of documentation how to set up your development system and your development environment. So it's quite straightforward to do so. And yeah, like Manfred said, every help is highly appreciated. The only point that is still on my list that people were asking is more tutorial videos. That's something that's happening already a lot. So especially Steve is working on that together with Aruna and Max. So there are lots of people creating content at the moment, video tutorials for Bisq. You can find it on our YouTube channel. And yeah, but if, for example, if there's something missing that you want to see as a tutorial video, you can just try to create it yourself and communicate. Maybe just quickly communicate with us before you're creating that, and that's also up for compensation in the end. Okay. Are there any other questions or remarks regarding feature requests for 2019? Otherwise, I would go to our plans for 2019. So Manfred, what's on the roadmap for 2019 for Bisq?
Yeah, number one is the DAO on mainnet. I mean, it's already on testnet and it worked pretty good. We recently got an issue which I'm fixing at the moment, and the next days we make a new release with fixes for this, and everybody is welcome with the next release to test on testnet again, the DAO. You can play around there, you cannot lose anything, you can try out all the features, and especially all the contributors are highly welcome to try it out and to help to test it. It's very important phase now to spot issues and so on. When we're live, everything gets much more difficult to fix bugs there. After the DAO release, we want to launch this new trade protocol, as mentioned already. That's a very important step because the current arbitration system has a few issues, or it cannot scale really. It has some some problems what we want to fix with the new trade protocol. And beside that, I think everything what you mentioned, UI improvements, usability improvements, adding more payment methods, or getting a very important part. We have Oscar now as a developer. He's has joined the Hangout also.
Yeah, welcome, Oscar.
Hi, Oscar. He's a Bitcoin J expert. We did some investigation if we can move to another system because we were not super happy with Bitcoin J for several reasons. One is privacy issues, like with the Bloom filters, and the other is the lack of active development support, or like Segwit is still not implemented after quite a long time, and many other features as well. So we were looking to get a system like Bitcoin Core running in SPV mode, or Neutrino, or some other solutions. At the end, after a long investigation, it turned out that there is nothing out there which is production ready to use. So we have to stick with Bitcoin J, and our plan at the moment is that we put more effort into Bitcoin J to improve it step by step, and maybe take over a little bit their active development role in Bitcoin J, and maybe join together with other companies or projects who are using Bitcoin J, like Samurai Wallet or Mycelium, to join forces and get Bitcoin J more active again on the development side. What else?
Yeah, I think that's you mentioned nearly everything. Yeah, we had the DAO launch on mainnet, the new trade protocol, the UI changes, the API. Yeah, I think it's already kind of a full packed roadmap. for 2019. Yeah, and of course, it's very organic, the roadmap also. Yeah, depending what comes up and what's needed, we try to provide. But yeah, we need your feedback, your support, and yeah. Regarding feedback, anyone who's watching us live, do you have any other questions regarding what on our plans for 2019, or maybe a feature you want to see in 2019? I'll give you a couple of seconds. Otherwise, I will then in the end wrap up the call. There's one point I also want to mention, especially to all the contributors watching us. We do have our current voting cycle at the moment, so all the compensation requests are transferred to the Google spreadsheet. I'm very happy that this is after the mainnet launch history, and we can do this within the client. But at the moment, the voting is happening in our spreadsheet, and everyone who contributes already is welcome to vote on the compensation requests. Don't forget, it's possible until the 4th of January, end of day. After that, the voting will be closed, and yeah, depending on the results, people will get BSQ addressed or not. Yeah, so don't forget to vote. It's important. Yeah, it seems like there are no. Yeah, Manfred. Yeah.
From the other guests in the chat, do you want to add anything? What's on your wish list or your feedback from the last year or whatever?
I mean, my wish list is to see the DAO takes over the organization of Bisq. This is also the main thing for me from last year, but it's going to take a few months, I guess. That's the main thing for me, the DAO here.
Yeah, that's one of the most important points for 2019. Steve, do you have any special things on your mind or plans for 2019?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. No, not really. I think I share the same sentiment. I want to see the DAO take off and be successful. So just working to help people understand that better and cover their concerns beforehand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's also great to have Oscar on board now, especially to take over the Bitcoin J development. Do you have anything special on your roadmap, Oscar? We can't hear you. I think you are muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Yes, mostly getting up to date with the latest contributions to Bitcoin J. That's what we are doing at the moment, cleaning up the Bitcoin J fork that we have. Yeah, that's and fixing bugs here and there.
Yeah, fixing bugs sounds great. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass sometimes, but it makes a lot if to have perform a very good application. Yeah, fixing bugs is important.
A small news regarding bugs. So from the arbitrators, I got the feedback that there are much less bugs with the new versions, and I think a main reason was this sleep mode. At least on OS X, we knew there was an issue when you had your application running. It didn't get a lot of resources, and that caused a lot of issues that transactions were not published or messages didn't arrive or take offer attempts failed. You could see the offer, but when you want to take it, then the connection was too slow, and that's fixed with 0.9, and I think that has solved a lot of issues. We are getting quite not really many disputes. Most disputes are not bug related; they are banks or usability issues. The banks are the biggest bugs in Bisq, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, but we do have face-to-face trade, so people can trade on Bisq without banks as well. Tomasz, do you want to add anything from your side?
Nothing really. thanks for the great call, and I hope this will take off.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So if there are not any other questions, I will wrap it up. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for being in the Hangout today. I think 2019 will be a great year again for Bisq. 2018 was already outstanding, but with the release on of the DAO on mainnet, I think it will be a complete different game on Bisq. And yeah, I'm really excited to be part of the Bisq team during this process. Yeah, it's quite it's challenging, but it's really interesting and satisfying. Yeah. So if you're interested, now is the best time to contribute on Bisq. Don't get in too late. Okay, thanks for watching. See you again next week. And yeah, if you have any questions, try to contact us on Slack, Twitter, or on the support forum. See you. Bye.
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 Bye.